Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world, and how's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. Thanks for asking. It really is. Today feels like a better day for me mentally. I'm still having trouble concentrating, but things are getting done, and I think that's the most important thing. We talk. I don't know if we've ever talked about that. I'm sure we have. I mean, geez, at this point, I don't know that there's any secrets in my life, or there are points in my life we haven't discussed. But years ago, when I first started to get into game design, when I sold my first game, I went into what I can only describe as a fit of mania for a few years. I was very manic. I was very high on the idea of becoming a game designer. I was designing games nonstop, and I mean, extremely productive is how other people saw me. In my mind's eye, I was extremely unproductive because I wasn't being productive on the things that I wanted to be productive on. And so I had learned at that point this kind of trick of dealing with my lack of focus or my lack of ability to maintain focus. And that trick was to just take on everything. If I have 1,000 things that need to get done, then I can procrastinate on 999 things to do one thing at any given point in time, and something is getting done. And so from the outside, if you didn't know me at that time and you weren't in my personal life at that time, from the outside it seemed like a whole bunch of stuff was getting done. But the reality of it was that the stuff that was getting done wasn't important, right? It was just stuff. And I was just doing anything I could do to be productive. And anytime I needed, when I hit a brick wall or I hit a problem, and like we're talking not just on projects, but like personal life or family life, I could just procrastinate by doing something else. And so, but if you were outside looking in, you would seem like, man, he's getting all kinds of stuff done. How are you doing all that? And the fact of the matter is, I wasn't. I basically wasn't doing all that. I was doing things, but none of it amounted to anything. I mean, if you look back at that time, on my blog, I don't know if I translated all those articles. At some point, I used to hand code my website. At some point, I transferred it to WordPress, and I don't know if I transferred everything. But during that time, there would be 3 or 4 game designs a week I would talk about, and I had like 10 ongoing game design projects that took up, that went longer than a month. Some of them went years that I never did finish. And if you look at all of that productivity, all of that time, only a few things came out of that. Scallywags came out of that. That was what started it. My card game Pull, which I'm considering resurrecting that game. I'll just say that. I'm considering bringing it back out and maybe retheming it and putting it on Kickstarter or something. So there's that. That game is, I think, a very, very, very good game. My dice game, which I called Leathernecks 43, which was really a princess game. That's a good game. Paperboy is a neat real-time game. And some people like the Tuesday Night Tanks game and think that was a good game. And that's about it. I could argue that I really enjoy the card game version of Scallywags. I called it Me Booty, and I think it's the better version of the game. But I have never been able to find a publisher for it. I got really close at one point. Never found a publisher for it. And if you carry that forward to last year, I was working on 3 or 4 projects last year. They're still in progress. I haven't stopped working on them. They've just been all up here. I've done no physical work on them at all. They're all just still in my head, and I'm still pondering how I'm going to fix some of the problems that I have with them. None of it has amounted to anything. Like none of them have been turned into successful products. I mean, I would argue that even Scallywags was not a successful product. I think they only sold maybe 8,000 of the 10,000 original run, and so 2,000 units just have been sitting for years, and they've been trying to dump them, and whatever. The game did not work. People didn't like it. But things got done, right? Something got done. Things got pushed forward. And a lot of it was at the sacrifice of things that I should have been doing. And I think that's where I'm at right now, is I no longer have that desire to drive towards goals or strive for goals that are not realizable. And I have a much more pragmatic approach to the things that I do or don't do. But the things that I really need to focus on are the things that allow me to continue existing. You know, like my job and my children and my relationship with M and my dog. And, you know, I need to put more energy into life and less energy into procrastination, which is the real root of all of this. It's the root of all of the lack of focus and everything. It's just procrastination, and it's something that I've been fighting since I was born. I guess, I don't know, since at least my teenage years. I've become better at it. I am much more likely to take things on. What I have learned as a serial procrastinator is the best way to combat it is to do things the moment that it enters your awareness. When I receive an email, I respond immediately. There's no like put it on hold. So I put it on hold, it would be on hold indefinitely, and I usually get called out on it. Like, why didn't you respond to this? Like, oh, I forgot all about that. So it's usually best to, when that thought enters, do it, move on. And that's how I approach my work life. That's how I approach my life with my children and M. Now, all of my creative projects that I may or may not work on, I don't approach them that way, because I feel like a lot of times I'm just doing something because I feel like I need to do something, and when it turns out that that method that I came up with doesn't work and I have to redo it, it's not nearly as exciting. So I just rather sit on it for a while and then do it. So, all that being said, I haven't worked I said yesterday I was going to put another coat of finish on the router table. I have not done that. I hope to do that today. I hope to work on this some tomorrow. I have other chores I've been procrastinating on that need to get done, but I really need to get this done. I really, because I want to use this to make a thing, and, you know, whatever. So, what are you going to do this weekend? You going to procrastinate on anything? Let me know what that is in the comments down below. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends, wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again Monday. Today's word you should know to sound smart is marsupial. It is a noun meaning a mammal who carries its young with her after its birth in a pouch on the outside of her body where the baby continues to develop. The kangaroo is best known marsupial, but wombats also carry their babies in a pouch. Marsupial, M-A-R-S-U-P-I-A-L. There is a video, I'm not going to try to find it for you, but you should look it up, of a kangaroo being born, and like it crawls up its mom's fur and then gets into it. It's fascinating, like absolutely fascinating.